as much as I would like to say that I've never done this, I think this is a lesson that a lot of developers just kind of learn the hard way from themselves. So don't be like me, learn from my mistakes and avoid taking shortcuts whenever possible when you're developing your application or working at your job. As in this example, we have the same output here. We have this list of different items here on the left and this list of different items on the right. And yeah, we get the same result, effectively, a little different styling, but effectively the same result. But if we look at the code, what you're going to see is that for the items on the left, we have a unordered list with 5 different list items, and we have all of our styles, and we have our text here. But you see, we have all of these class names written out that are the same class names for all 5 of these different list items. Whereas for our list on the right, we have our unordered list, but this time around, we have our list items up above right here, and then we just map over those list items and we render out this individual list item for each. So we're only writing out the styles one time here rather than writing out the styles all 5 times for all these different list items. And this could be more than just styles. Maybe these are custom list items to where you pass props to them and you have more complexity going on here. But the key thing here is that what's going to happen if I decide, I don't know, maybe we want to adjust the background color for these list items. Well, for these list items on the right side, this is really easy to do. Maybe I want to change it to background gray, I don't know, 900. And then I change that, and then you can see it's a much darker gray here on the right side. But to do that for the left side, you kind of have to go through and you have to change all these individually, and it just kind of becomes pretty tedious to do. And that's just if we have one background that needs to be changed. And this is also assuming that this is, the only component that you've done this in. And like right now, these class names are all structured pretty well to where they follow like the same order of classes. So it's pretty kind of easy to see still, but there's a chance that this background gray could be here. It could be over here for the next list item, over here for the next one, over here. And you might miss some and it might cause issues. So the TLDR here is that it is going to lead to much more scalable, much more maintainable applications if you follow, some of the clean code practices whenever you can of, not repeating yourself, creating functions for some logic and not repeating a lot of logic, and overall, like not taking shortcuts. Like I feel like as developers, we kind of know when we should probably restructure something and make it a little bit cleaner and more maintainable. But in the moment, it can be easy to just push a PR to get something done and move on to the next task of our endless list of tasks that we have. But, this, of course, has, especially when I was starting out, you kind of have to learn this the hard way at least a couple of times to where maybe you don't even realize it sometimes when you're starting out that, I actually could have restructured that really well. But over time, you'll learn where you really need to restructure things. And then it just becomes a matter of, hey, don't take any shortcuts here. Make sure as much as possible to make things maintainable and extendable, especially if it's like an easy fix like this. Like you could easily paste this into ChatGPT, this unordered list, and be like, hey, turn this into a more maintainable code by mapping over this list. And ChatGPT would definitely probably come up with the correct solution here. Of course, verify it, but they would probably get it right. So whenever possible, make sure that you're not taking shortcuts in your code. Usually, I think we know when we kind of start doing it, and then it does make a difference if you take the time to refactor into more maintainable code. Now, you don't always want to like prematurely optimize everything. So there is kind of a balance to be had here. But for the most part, if you can just have the discipline to not take shortcuts and make things as maintainable and extendable the first time you write that code, I think you're going to thank yourself in the long run.